Well, September was always going to be a busy month. We had two major competitions in the shape of the World Pairs in Ireland, which is the week-long competition that myself and Richie Hill take part in every year. I took the cameras along with me, so I've got some footage of that for you. I was also fortunate enough to get out with Match Fishing magazine with Dan Webb, where we headed off to go and do some deep water reservoir fishing, and the fishing turned out a lot better than we expected. And we also competed this month in the World Club Feeder Qualifier at Arrow Valley with our Ringer Baits team. So I've got some footage from that for you, and just to kind of talk you through how we went on in that qualifier, where we were trying to secure our place in next year's World Club Final, which takes place in Bulgaria. I'm here today at the lovely Boston Lakes complex, where I'm here just conducting a coaching day with the lads. So I'm going to have some footage from today for you, so hopefully we're going to be catching plenty of fish. But first of all, the World Pairs, it's a massive competition, and as you can expect, having fished this competition for the last 6 or 7 years now, there's a lot of preparation that goes into that sort of event. So all that began in the tackle room. The World Pairs, it's an event we take part in every year. It's obviously a pairs competition, and it takes place in Ireland every year. It's a 5-day competition, and for the last 6 years, or maybe 7 years, I've actually fished with Richie Hill, and this year we were really looking forward to it. Every single year it always makes us, keeps us hungry for more. We can't wait to get back there every year. Preparation for an event like that obviously started right here in the tackle room, and I covered some of that in last month's diary video, so I won't go over that again. But it's typical Irish fishing, Irish kit, and it took me a few days just to kind of get all my kit sorted. I'm a big believer in trying to keep my kit down to a minimum, so obviously I just wanted to make sure that I've got everything that I need, but obviously not take everything and the kitchen sink. We've been going over there quite a few years now, so obviously that gives you a great idea about what you're actually going to need when you get over there to cover all the eventualities that you might be faced with. We did the usual thing. We travelled over together in Richie's vehicle, and we went from Holyhead over on Irish ferries over to Dublin, and then we drove from Dublin up to the digs. Great crossing as always, and then it was about an hour and a half, just under 2 hours to our digs from Dublin. We stayed in new digs this year. It was called, well, the place was called The Manor. Beautiful big house, as you can see, and absolutely stunning surroundings. It's surrounded by a golf course, and we actually stayed in the cottages there, which are right down by the lock, right by the pegs, because there's actually, this year there was a new section in there called obviously the Manor, and that is where the pegs were. So it was great to see those those pegs, because I hadn't seen those before, so it was a great insight into seeing what that section was going to be like. So we stayed in the cottages there. Beautiful cottages, obviously very, very roomy, as you can see, and just ideal for that sort of a trip where you've got plenty of fishing tackle, you've still got somewhere to store all your bait and stuff, and you've got plenty of space to get your kit in there if it's raining outside, just to set up new rigs or any sort of prep that you might need to do. And obviously Richie had Tyler with him again, so it was great, obviously, for with all the grounds and everything around there. It was perfect. It was an interesting competition this year. The weather was absolutely horrendous most days, I'll be honest with you, and it kind of hindered a lot of the filming that I actually had planned to go there and do whilst I was there, because obviously you want to have your A game, you want to be 100% focused on your match, and when the conditions are like they were, it just made it too difficult to film every day, because my mind would have been more on the actual filming and the way that I was filming it, rather than the actual fishing. And obviously that's not a scenario that a match angler should be in, because everything's about fishing the match. So I had to kind of put the filming on the back burner. However, the very first day, because of our rotation that we drew, we were heading off to the islands. So that was on day one, which was on Monday. Day one, I was off to a horse island, and I did manage to film that day. Not as much in detail as what I have filmed in other matches, but I did manage to do some filming. So I just thought I'd give you this kind of this insight into what it's actually like to travel over to those islands and compete in the World Pairs on the very first day of competition. Well, service seems to have resumed. Richie kind of said where he fancied drawing, and you know, he's predicted it again that I seem to be on the most favourable peg right from the off, straight out of the traps. It's Horse Island for me. We fancy that the middle pegs on Horse Island tend to be the pegs that can more consistently throw up some weights. Obviously they don't always throw up weights, but when they do, that is very much a favourable area, and that's where I'm heading. I'm on peg 7, which is the middle of Horse Island. Richie's off to Inish Island, or Roach Island, as we referred to last year, for those of you that watched the video.
According to Adam Wakeling, it's called Love Island.
Yeah, Waco's calling it Love Island now. Richie's here to see me off as well. Look at that. Bon voyage.
Just making sure.
We're on it again. Not sure where we're going to get dropped off. Might be one of the middle pegs. It's known as Horse Island, and that's why it's full of cows. We get the kit dropped off at the peg 7 there. Not many horses on Horse Island, is there? How about that for a taxi service? It's going to be a little bit difficult filming today. The weather is just horrendous, and obviously well, there's rain on the camera already. I'll just talk you through the setup, just to let you know. You can see where I am. Those people that know Horse Island, I do fancy this area, this bit here. If there are going to be weights here, this can be the bit where it's going to be. I'll just quickly talk you through the setup. I'll not do this every day for you because you'll get sick of hearing it, but I know a lot of you will want to see it. I've got the super light free flow landing net setup. That's because that's great with barbed hooks. It doesn't get caught in there, your barbed hooks, just like some of the nylon, or you know, the I'm not sure what material it is, but some of the nets that you can get, you know, that a barbed hook will get fast in there. That's the last thing you want. I really don't know how much of this you're going to hear over the wind, but that's going to be the main rod, the 4 metre Horizon XC. Sorry, the XD, that's the 4 metre, the 100 gram version. That's going to be the one for the main line. Hoping I'm going to catch some hybrids out there. I've got a short line set up with an XS Slim, which is 3.3 metre. That is just in case it gets too difficult to present the pole on that short line. I've got a pole set up obviously, and I am going to feed that at the start with probably 4 balls of ground bait. Hopefully I'm just going to stay long all day catching hybrids, but you know, we don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to feed that line. I've got another rig to put on, to be honest, but I've got a 2 gram rig set up, which is a little bit light, to be honest. We'll probably do with 3 gram in these conditions, but to be honest, I don't know if I'll be fishing it if the conditions get as bad as that. I probably might catch more with a little feeder on that line. So you can probably just tell by looking at that setup how deep it is. It's an estimate, I don't know what that is, 10 foot maybe, might be a little bit more. That's at 13 metres. Just got an Olivet and 2 droppers, and that's on the Nemesis, the original Nemesis 13 metre. Like I said, I'm going to feed that. I'm going to feed that quite well. I'm going to put 4 balls on that and just keep putting a nugget on it, keep putting a ball on it while I'm fishing my long line. The setup I'll quickly talk you through because I know people will ask about it. I'll not do this every day. Like I say, I'm not quite sure what's going to be like filming this week because it's all been a little bit rushed, and the weather's been not very favourable, but it's great to be here as always. So the kit wise, I've obviously still got the 36 box, really nice and sturdy. I'm using the platform this year. I haven't used one in previous years just purely because I didn't think I needed it, but when you've got waves on it and the wind coming, it's much better to have that because you're up off the water. It's just a lot more comfortable. I've got the new roost there, as you can see, which goes onto the side of the seat box legs, and that's for the pole, obviously, for the pole kit. I've got the roost here for the rods, out the way there. Power landing net handle. Like I say, hopefully I'm going to be catching some of these big hybrids, and that's really nice and tough. And when you've got rocks everywhere like you have here, you've got to think about that as well. So you can easily break landing net handles on these sorts of pegs. 4 metre river net we're using all week. That's there, nice and sturdy. The wind's blowing through that fine. Usual side tray setup, but I'm using a bait waiter this year, and I'll have my EVA side tray cover on there as well, and the feeder arm as well, that I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with. Like I say, I'm going to feed 4 balls on that 30-metre line and start long. I'm going to fish quite aggressive, to be honest. We need a weight going. When you come to these islands, you've got to get a weight. The only thing we need is we hope the fish are going to be there. We don't know, it hasn't been fished, so we don't even know if the fish are going to be there, but we need them to be there. Same as Inish Island, where Richie's gone, we need the fish to be there so we can get a weight while we're here in the north. And that's about it really. I'm going to try and get some filming of the match for you from the side tray, and hopefully there's going to be plenty of action for you to see. That's it. I don't even know if you can hear me. It's blowing an absolute gale, as you can see. We've also got a seaplane that's just landed. It's been landing and taking off over there all day, so hopefully you can hear me. I've ended up with a good catch, not the fabled dream catch, dream start that we wanted, you know, like the 30 kilo weight that we would have loved to have got, but I think I've done all right where I am in this section, well, on this island anyway. I really don't know what I've got, I'll be absolutely honest with you. I've just been that focused in catching one at a time really. I've got a few hybrids, 1 or 2, you know, good hybrids, but a lot of roach as well, about 6-8 ounce, some of them up to £1 really. I never shipped the pole out. I've just stuck to the feeder. I've fed probably 4 pints of casters. I've just kept on banging that feed in, hoping those big hybrids were going to come. And like I say, I've caught some, but it just got worse as the day went on, and I've just had a few roach in the last hour, that's all. So I'm going to get this lot packed away. The boat's here to collect us, so I need to get all my kit packed away, and then get the kit on there, back to shore, and hopefully Rich is going to report that he's caught a few fish as well. We got off to a great start, you know, and to be quite honest, it kind of went downhill after that. The rotation didn't do us a massive amount of good, but having said that, you know, 1 or 2 of the draws didn't really give us a chance to, you know, to rack up the weights that you need, because obviously it's a cumulative weight thing over the course of 5 days. It was very, very evident this year that a lot of the fish were in shallow water, but obviously, you know, it wasn't that obvious straight away. You know, that was something that panned out over the week. But the actual trip itself was fantastic. It's an incredible event. For anybody who's not fished that event, you know, I strongly recommend it. But it was great. We caught some fish. Really always enjoy the trip. The fishing's quite varied. The pegs and the sections that you go to are very, very varied as well, and it was great to get on some fish on a couple of the days as well. I'm obviously back now. We came back with all the results, which are all printed out, which is fantastic. These are all online on the World Pairs website if anyone wants to check them out, and we obviously came away with a few of the envelopes that helped go towards pay for the trip. But it was a fantastic event, like I say. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of an insight into day one, which is over on that, you know, that particular one was over on Horse Island. And it's just nice to know that when you do have an half decent draw, or a good draw, depends how you look at it, that you can catch a few fish when you're on them, you know. The tactics and the methods that we use over there are quite uniform now in many ways, so we just know that, you know, if you're on the fish, then hopefully you should catch them if you do it anything like right. But you know, it was a wonderful trip, very, very tiring, it always is, and we went over there 2 days early this year, and that might be something that we do again next year. But yeah, it was an incredible trip, and for anybody who hasn't done it before, I strongly recommend it. Well, it was another incredible week. You know, it's a very tiring week. It's obviously not just feeder only, which I know a lot of you know that I kind of specialise on. It does involve a lot of pole fishing, and so the preparation that goes into that sort of event can be immense. And I know some lads take weeks and weeks to prepare for that event. It wasn't to be our year, but we had some success, which was great. Ironically, the first day was probably our best day. We got off to a good start, but you know, it's just great and reassuring to know that when you do draw those pegs where there are some fish, that your tactics are right, that you can compete with the best and win when you are actually drawn on fish. Obviously, I need to commit a lot more in future. This is very much on a personal level, but to commit more to pole fishing. But that's purely because, you know, you need to cover all your options on venues like that. When you're faced with pegs with variations in depth, then you need to target those different areas, and sometimes you can't always do it with a feeder. And that's been something that I've always been able to do in past years, and certainly on a lot of the UK fisheries that we fish back home in Ireland, it was quite clear that the pole was by far the best way to present and to catch fish and present a bait in that shallow water closer in. Well, back in 2011, that's really when I came back onto the match fishing scene. I had a break when I was 19. I was too old to fish for the England youth team, and that's when you do the usual thing, go to college, university, get a job and all that sort of thing. And I just kind of fished a pretty low or average club level ever since then, until 2011, and that's when I got back into my match fishing and I wanted to get onto the scene. And when I did that, I gradually focused more on feeder fishing and started getting some results. Once I got some results, I was doing things slightly different on one or two of the venues, and I was fortunate enough to get a message from Coarse, who was then the editor of Match Fishing magazine, who kindly invited me to go along and do a feature for the magazine. He also filmed a video there as well, which is still on his channel. It's Feeder Fishing for Bream. It's on his Match Fishing Films YouTube channel, so you can check that out. That's still there. And that was my first magazine feature for Match Fishing magazine. That was the magazine that I kind of started buying just to kind of get myself back up to speed with the UK match scene, when I knew I needed obviously to catch up and brush up on my skills and everything, and just find out what the open match scene was all about. I haven't done a feature for that magazine for a while now, just obviously because I've been too busy, and Joe's actually moved on from that magazine now, and now the new editor is Dan Webb. He's probably in his about third or fourth edition of the magazine now. He's settled in nicely, so it was nice to get a message from Dan Webb to do a feature, obviously feeder fishing, and we wanted to tackle some deep water. I'm fortunate enough that there's a reservoir not far from where I live in Sheffield that's got lots of fluctuations in depth. So there are areas that are shallow, there are areas that are really deep, and there's some that you what would say were average depth. I managed to free up a day where I could go along with Dan, and we shot a feature there for Match Fishing magazine and David Hull Publishing, where we targeted the deepest areas of this particular reservoir. And of course, I took the camera along just to give you a taster of what that article is going to be like when it comes out in October. Good morning, it's 6:30 in the morning. I'm just heading up to a local reservoir today to do some deep water feeder fishing. But first things first, I'm going to go get some breakfast. Yeah, just get a bacon roll please with brown sauce.
On its own?
Yes, that's it, thank you.
Yeah, no worries, drive on love.
Thank you. Morning. Yeah, that's it mate. Cheers, Bob. Thank you. Cheers. See you later. This place is only about 6 miles away from where I live. Flat calm, there we go. That is Danflass Reservoir. place I spent quite a bit of time on growing up as a kid. Used to come up here on the bus. No wind blowing at the moment. I'm going to go and fish over on that far left hand side as we look at it right now. But the first thing I need to do is go to that house just there where there's a ticket machine and get my day ticket. There are different tickets available. I think there are concession tickets as well. But if you do ever come up here fishing and you get a day ticket, remember that you need the correct money. So it is a ticket machine, as you can see. Day ticket $4.90, but they do have a 2-month ticket and a 6-month ticket. So if you're going to be fishing it a lot, then it might be more cost effective to do that. Morning. I think the water level is up. Might be a bit awkward getting down this little bit here. Once you're down there it's alright. But this is where the water level's been. It's been right up to this grass recently. The area of planning on fishing was just down there, but I better go and have a look at the pegs. Just on the edge of that quarry. I'm going to have a walk down. There we go. Well, this is the quarry. This is where the deep water is, and we can get in all right as well. I'm not going to get anywhere really much deeper than this. I don't know if we're going to catch there, but that's not what this is about. That's just a gradual rock face that goes down there. There's usually some fish around here, but like I say, 1 or 2 small fish topping. Brilliant to see the reservoir at this time in the morning. Looks stunning. So I'll get some kit out of the van. I think it's going to be a barrow job, and see if we can get settled in. Well, I'm all set up at the peg now. As you can see, it's come a little bit lighter. There's a bit of a breeze on it now. It has been flat calm. There were fish topping everywhere. I think there were roach. But yeah, I'm settled into the session now. The real reason why I'm here today is because I'm up here with Dan Webb, who's the editor of Match Fishing magazine, which is a David Hall publication. I'm sure you're all familiar with the magazine. I haven't done any features or articles in there for quite a while, so it's been really nice to get up here with Dan. Dan's only been editor of the magazine now for a few months. He's settled in nicely now. So we're up here today just to shoot a feature for that magazine. So I just thought I'd bring you along just to give you a taster for what this article is all about. Deep water feeder fishing, as you already know, and we're catching a few fish. So hopefully we're going to carry on catching a few of the skimmers. I don't know if there's any better bream out there, but obviously as the session progresses we might catch 1 or 2 better bream. But yeah, it's great to be getting a few fish, especially in this really deep water. Well, in true fashion, Dan's on the tattle. He couldn't resist it. He's done his work for today. Another lovely skimmer. Let's have a look at the condition of these fish. Absolutely beautiful fish. Look at that.
Double pinky.
Double pinky and a red maggot on a size 12 super match. Superb. He couldn't resist it. He's heading off shortly, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get my tattle back or not. But it's been a really good day. I'm looking forward to seeing this feature myself, to be fair. So I can't wait to see the photos that Dan's done. And yeah, definitely be an article you'll be wanting to check out. I know I get asked a lot about fishing in deep water like this. Where that's just landed now, where you've just seen, that's 25 seconds deep. So if you're interested in fishing venues like that, where it's nice and deep, natural venues, just about the style of feeder that you use, the way that you set your tip and the kind of kit that you use, then this might be the article for you. I couldn't believe how many fish we actually ended up catching. Obviously, when you're targeting what I would consider to be mega deep water, it's very, they're very unpredictable areas. In reservoirs like that, you've got such massive fluctuations in depth. The fish, depending on the time of year and the water temperature and all that sort of thing, location of fish is very, very difficult at certain times of year. I wasn't sure if that was going to pay off, but thankfully it did. Caught loads of fish, and it was great just to kind of go through the approach as regards tackling deep areas like that. I mean, that was 20 odd seconds deep, and so there aren't many venues that are as deep as that, but there are people that like fishing venues that are as deep as that. And it was just a great opportunity to go through the kit, through the bait and the approach, and lots of some of the little tricks and things that you do along the way, because obviously sessions do change whilst you're fishing, things change, and it was a great opportunity just to go through the kind of kit and the kind of techniques that you use or can be employed to fishing deep pegs like that. So you might want to check that out when it comes out. So if you're into that sort of fishing and that sounds of interest, then that definitely is an article for you. Well, the World Club Qualifier, what can I say? I've fished for Ringer Baits now for the last 3 years, and as you can imagine, being part of a team like that, your enthusiasm for your match fishing and wanting to win just accelerates even more than what you might normally do on a normal match. We've been, what I would say, a little bit unlucky in the last couple of years in not qualifying for the World Feeder Final or Club Feeder Final. In previous years we fished on the River Trent, we fished here at Barston, the first one was here, we fished on the Trent at Fiskerton, and last year it was on the Gloucester Canal. This year it was on a venue, well, I think it's classed as Redditch in the Midlands, and it's called Arrow Valley. Now, it did have a thriving match scene years and years ago, but it's not quite as popular now with match anglers. They do have open matches there, but you don't get large numbers of anglers going there, so it was a little bit of an unknown. As ever, as you'd expect with a team like ours, they wanted to put the practice in and get this venue sorted out. As a lot of people know, I don't film team matches just because obviously I commit everything to the team, and the last thing I want them thinking is that I'm wasted time or my mind's on filming matches. So that's why I've never ever filmed a team match. However, I did go down there the week before this event on an open match, and obviously now is after the actual qualifier, so I can actually show you what kind of approach I adopted on that session, what kind of mixes I use and that sort of thing. So this is a video that I did straight after the open match, which was basically the first time I'd ever fished a match on that venue. This is Arrow Valley. For those that don't know, this month we've had the World Club Feeder Qualifier. This has been the venue for it. At the time you're seeing this, we'll already know the result, but at the present time of filming, this is 1 week before that qualifier. They've run an open match down here. This is about 105 miles away from where I live. This place is near Redditch, and I've never really fished here before. I came a few weeks ago just for a bit of a practice. This has just been an open match, so that well, it's an open match anyway, but it's obviously been an opportunity where people like myself and the other anglers who are from teams that have never fished here before, it's just an opportunity for them to come and see the venue. It's fished hard, I'll be totally honest with you. Dad's had the best seat in the house there, he's been in the sun all day, but yeah, I've drawn peg 53 for those that do know the venue, and
you know, it's been hard. Obviously it's a team match, so the team match, obviously we've had to have the team match mentality where it's all about not just winning the match, it's about getting a section win. That's what it's all been about. Today it's been hard. I've really fished 2 lines. I can show you this now because obviously by the time you're seeing this is obviously after the event, so I can really show you the kind of session that I've had, but it's all been about small fish. Last time we were here, caught lots of small fish, but there haven't been many caught today at all. I've probably got 30-35 small fish, but a lot of them are micro perch. Haven't been any bonus fish, no bream. There are bream here, but we haven't caught any. I've double mixed it today. That's been Ringer's Dark, and that is the Ringer's European Feeder, the same mix that we used in Ireland. I've basically used a cereal mix on a short line, and I've used the fish meal mix on my longer line for bream. I've caught on both lines, to be fair, but I haven't caught any bream. Caught some roach, been some perch, and the odd little skimmer stroke hybrid. Obviously I've got some worms there as well. We've been fishing for bream as well, so I've obviously been feeding some worms. Some lovely pinkies from these are from Wickersley Angling. Some dead reds. I've been feeding dead reds mainly on the bream line, which has been long, and then some casters, which I fed quite a few casters at the start, but I've not really fed them during the day. They just didn't seem to want them today, but last time I was here they really did. So yeah, at the time that you're seeing this, we'll know the result, but things like this, these are the kinds of sessions that we get involved in that a lot of people don't know about, and obviously, you know, fishing a prestigious team competition like what we've got coming up in a week's time. I've prepped quite a bit for this. Obviously it's a very important match, and you don't obviously want to let your teammates down. It's been the excess slim territory, to be fair, fishing short. I'll just show you the peg. I mean, I've been fishing 15 metres today, and then I've got a line out at 40 metres. At the 40 metre line, I've just used the XC class, the 3.6 metre, which has been perfect. It's only shallow out there. It's only about nearly 2 seconds deep, so, or shallow, depends how you look at it. So it is shallow, and I fished 15 metres with the 3.3 metre slim. Absolutely perfect for that. And so I've got a couple set up on each line, but these are the kind of sessions that we get involved in that a lot of people don't know about, and we came down here a few weeks ago just to have a look at the venue, and we will be down again before the actual final itself in a week's time. So like I say, at the time you're looking at this, you'll know the result. But yeah, I mean, these are the things that you have to just kind of get on with, prepare for, get as much information as possible, work together as a team, and hopefully, like I say, hopefully we're going to be reporting some success from that match. But yeah, it's been a glorious day, beautiful bright sunshine, very, very little wind, but the fishing has been very hard, so that final is going to be a test. Weighed a little bit more than I thought, £4.15. On my left being Jake, he's had £4.1, I think it is, and then Speedy, Nick Speedy, he's had £4.14. I think I've had the most fish here, but obviously it's the issue that the size of the fish is very, very small, and there was some 1 or 2 half decent roach in there as well. I just couldn't keep them coming. So Rob's done really well. Rob Watton, he's been right up there to my left. He's had £11 up there. I think he's been second to end peg. I don't think he's been on the end, but and then there's been a £9 the other side of Speedy. So it's fished hard, as you can probably tell. But yeah, it's been a good insight. It's given us a chance to see where the fish have been caught, what stamp they are, and it's obviously given us a chance to try certain mixes out and certain ways of feeding. But yeah, it's certainly a bit of it's a warning shot about how hard it could fish next week. So yeah, we've still got quite a bit of work to do this week. I'm just going to pack my kit away now. Pack my kit away knowing that the next time it comes out is going to be here, which is obviously a bonus, so I'll make sure it's all packed away alright, so I haven't got as much kit to do during the week. And then I'm just going to get back to Sheffield. It's about 105 miles, and me and Dad are going for a McDonald's, I think, on the way home, so that'll break up the journey. But yes, we're looking forward to being back on here in a few days time with the rest of the lads, with all the team, where we can all work together on a plan, and hopefully it'll be a cracking qualifier. Now, whilst it didn't fish very well, it gave us a great insight into that venue, what we actually got from that visit. And we actually went down about 2 weeks prior to that, myself and Phil and one or two of the other lads went down there, Mark Hughes and Jeff Ringer. We all sat in a line, and that was just really just to kind of get a feel for the venue, you know, get an idea of how deep it was, what sort of ranges we're going to be fishing, what target species there are, and what lines you can catch them on. Because once you've got all that information, straight away you narrow everything down. It gives you an idea of the mixers that you're going to be using, what kind of rods and tackle and reels you're going to need, and that will mean that then all 5 of us could get down in a row for 2 solid days on the venue and conduct what we would consider formal practice days. That was just really about a case of each angler being assigned a line to fish and a particular mix, and over the 2 days we kind of formulated a plan, and patterns did emerge about what ranges fish were being caught, at what time they were being caught, you know, the different stages of the match, and it also highlighted what the best ground bait mix was. So after the first day, we then at the second day we've just kind of refined 1 or 2 things, and then obviously it was all about the big day. We expected it to fish hard, and that's exactly what happened. Steve did the draw for us, and we had a decent set of draws. We had 4 decent pegs, two end pegs, but we felt that wherever we drew, the plan that we'd got, because it was kind of a bit of a low risk kind of a plan, we were quite confident it would work wherever we actually drew on the match. As you can see from this plan of the lake, it's quite a varied lake as regards the pegs and sections that were going to be used. There were going to be 5 sections all around the lake, and I drew in the bay in E section, and it's a bit of a bay. The pegging is a little bit tighter there, so that was the only real draw that we were kind of a little bit concerned about. And I'd drawn the middle peg. I was up against the end peg, which was Frankie Giannicelli had drawn that peg, and that's a peg that wins a lot of matches there. But as it turned out, it worked out really, really well. The lads did fantastic to win the sections. The best they said I could get was a 3rd, and I should have been 2nd really, but one late fish by one of the anglers in the section kind of knocked me into 3rd, so that was a little bit disappointing, but that was enough. That's all we needed. So it was absolutely fantastic. The lads are made up. They're absolutely made up about it. Phil Ringer and the team have put a massive amount into this competition, and we've been a little bit unlucky in the past, so to finally win that and qualify for the World Club Final next year, it's just a fantastic feeling. So as you can see, it's been a fantastic month, been very, very busy. Obviously going into next month, it's going to be just as busy. I've got lots of varied competitions to show you, so thanks for logging on. Hope you've enjoyed this little bit of an insight into what I've been up to this month. Like I said, September was always going to be a busy month, and when you kind of got goals and projects that you're working on in the background and that sort of thing, you're always going to be busy. So I hope you've been enjoying this series so far this year. Well, we're back in the clubhouse now. It's never stopped raining for the last 2 or 3 hours, and that's why I just didn't really get a chance to do much filming for you. I've got a nice hot cup of tea now. It's been a good day. We've fished for skimmers. I've been out with Darren today, and he's never fished here before. He only lives about 20 minutes away. We've fished a line for skimmers and bream, and we've also fished longer for carp. He's used the Horizon XD 100, which he went out and bought last week, and he's absolutely over the moon with it. He's finished up fishing at about 65 metres, and he was having to hold the feeder back. He's over the moon with how that rod performs at fishing at range like that. And on venues like Barston, there are areas where you do have to cast long like that. So having that sort of kit will now allow him to do that in those scenarios. It's been a good day. We caught a few skimmers. I wanted to film a bit more of it for you, but I just didn't get a chance because of the rain until late on. Obviously he's caught a beautiful carp last cast as well, and I managed to film that little bit for you just to give you an idea of what some of the fish are like in this wonderful lake. But it's been good. He's caught some skimmers like 27 metres, fished a nice strong fish meal mix. He's used Ringer's Dark, and we've wetted it down. We've caught some with it dry as well, squeezing it quite tight in the feeder, and we've also caught by over wetting it and having a nice wet mix. And then he's caught on an open method feeder as well, long, and it's been a cracking day. We really enjoyed it. It's really, these days are the days when it's not really so much about what you're actually catching, it's about just how you're rotating through the lines. I've been able to discuss with him about timings of going on certain lines and setting lines up as well, and it's been the perfect opportunity to do that, and that's why I really enjoy doing these days. it caps off a brilliant month. As you probably know, I've had a few weeks off from mainly match fishing over the last month going into September, but obviously the two big matches, the World Pairs and obviously qualification for the World Club Feeder Final in Bulgaria, just kind of caps off the month for us. It's been brilliant. Looking forward to October, November, December, going into those months. I've sorted out our Winter League campaign. Myself and Richard Vaughan will be fishing this year's Hallcroft Feeder Masters Winter Pairs competition again, so we've obviously got the dates for that going through the winter period, and I've also managed to secure some golden rod feeder tickets as well for myself on a variety of venues, and I will be filming some of the matches. I may even film all of them depending, so if you do want to see those, then please check out my channel on YouTube, the Catch Fishing channel, and that way you'll be kept in the loop with some of the live match footage, but I will obviously be bringing you updates and some footage of those matches here on this channel for you. So thanks for logging on and checking out what we've been up to this month. It's been a really busy month, but I think every month's going to be busy now. There are so many opportunities out there, both on and off the bank, and we're working on so many things, whether it be the coaching days, the fishing days, going out testing new tackle, going out testing new baits, or whether it's just been putting videos together and just session videos, just going through how we're fishing some methods, certainly now that the temperatures are changing and it's getting colder. So thanks again for logging on, really appreciate it, and I hope to see you all at the end of October, where I'll be giving you another video diary about what I've been up to both on and off the bank.